let's just meditate. Don't feel the hate, you the energy and levitate. Contemplate, make sure your next decision great. Thank me later, I just showed you how to elevate. About the shit in our communities. Drop knowledge just to spread opportunities. And as always, think with greatness. Into the next song. I see you.
Houston Texans hit the road and head east this week off to Miami to take on a rested Dolphins squad. Man, that doesn't seem fair, does it?
Y'all boy look good up front. I ain't gonna count, boy. That's start with y'all, dog.
I get it. This preview could be. Everyone thinks the Dolphins win. Their passing attack is dominant. They're playing the worst team in the NFL. Here's the blowout scores our panel chose. Peace. I mean, yes, it's hard to get any more lopsided than a one-win team taking on the only undefeated team left in the NFL.
Doesn't get any better than that. What a play.
Should we keep going just to see how many people hit the comments section? Does Game Preview Guy even watch the NFL? Miami has 3 losses. This guy's a clown. Both those statements are true, but the Dolphins' record in games when their designated 2022 starting QB has started and finished flawless, making the Tua Dolphins the last unbeaten standing.
Tua back to throw now, looking, throws it. Touchdown Miami, Mike Gesicki.
Texans secondary, your turn. They're getting in the ring with the most electric passer in the game right now, 9.1 yards per attempt. First, 12.9 yards per completion. First, rating 118.4. First, completing 71% of his passes, 18-3 TD to INT ratio.
Tua shotgun, back to throw, looking, steps up, fires, touchdown Miami! It's Waddle! His 6th touchdown pass of the day.
Houston's DBs have to cover more than the field this week. They have to cover the entire globe. From the North Pole
Millie's got a first down and a touchdown from Waddle
to the desert plains of Africa.
Flips it downfield, wide open! Unbelievable! Touchdown Tyreek Hill! Beat him by 7 or 8 yards.
Texans defense first has to try and contain Tyreek. Hill hauling in 8 balls per game, 114 yards per game, leads the league in receptions and receiving yards.
Boy, hey, I'm close.
Cheetahs hit 70 miles per hour on land. So, counter Hill with Houston's Mexican free-tailed bat, and Houston should be good to go. So what, they don't have one of those? I know the nickname isn't cool, but Mexican free-tailed bats have been known to crack 100 miles per hour. Fine. Well, they also need either Batman or a polar bear in their secondary. Jalen, close to 90 receiving yards per game, has waddled in the paint 6 times.
Back to throw, flipping it downfield, wide open, Waddle! Touchdown! Perfect throw and catch.
Texans secondary, that trio takes on maybe the team's one semi-strength. Doesn't mean they can hold Miami's receivers in check, but they held Taylor Heineke in check last week, and they have a sub-90 rating allowed for the 2022 season.
3rd and a yard, Heineke to throw, incomplete, it's 4th down.
Dolphins love to travel via the skies, but they are better equipped to take the low road if need be. Raheem Mostert over 4.5 a run this season. Newcomer Jeff Wilson, huge game for Miami the last time we saw him.
Breaks to the outside, got blocking in front of him. Touchdown!
Texans played the run well last week. Didn't fit how they looked against runners most of 2022, though. They've been one of the easiest teams to gain yards against along the ground.
Breaks the tackle, touchdown Raiders!
The Texans are that team at this point. They're the NFL speed bump. If you're not careful, they can make you feel it, but most of the time, teams drive right over.
And that pass is intercepted at the 45.
Davis Mills, 2 INTs last week versus Washington. The Texans now trying out Kyle Allen at QB. He was with Washington last year, 0 starts. He takes over a fence and will hope to add some O to it. Texans under 17 points per game.
Frees up that left hand to get up, knock that ball down.
This matchup is get right for someone. They've given up one of the highest passer ratings in the game. Their top corner, Xavier Howard, who's had injury issues, giving up a rating over 120.
He threw JJ open on the run, 40, 30, 20.
What if Houston employs a ground and pound strategy? Texans' one silver lining on offense has been running back Dameon Pierce, but he comes in off a fool's gold performance. 10 carries, only 8 yards.
And going nowhere is Pierce.
It's worth noting, Dolphins defense isn't going to be easy to pierce along the ground. Look, man, what do you want me to do when I walk by a ball on a tee? Leave it sitting there? Miami has allowed 4.6 a carry to runners, but they've held running backs to 3.7 a run, making them one of the hardest for backs to gain yards on.
Nick Chubb is known for people bouncing off of him and shaking tackles and getting yardage after contact. Not this time.
The Texans might want to follow Indy's strategy. Hire a guy who talks about football but really hasn't coached it or knows much about it. Just saying, game preview guy is open to negotiations. The one thing Houston has in its favor in this matchup, 2022, is the season of the upset enough? Or is Miami going to go strange brew and steamroll the Texans? Here's 10 Dolphins logos with some scores. No way anyone has those kind of onions, right?